So the communicate part of the 5-star service is communicating with your clients in a respectful way. And I know, Debbie, you'll probably talk more about this, but just as a point that I had from bookkeepers and myself, is that training staff again on how to communicate with your clients. So to make sure that it's not just respectful and professional, which we all just assume everybody's going to be. It's the way that you might put out an email. Like I know one bookkeeper would say, her staff would just say, you know, what's the amount of $1,000 in March? Like, well, which transaction is that? So, you know, being really clear in asking for information, being really, you know, structured and you know, sending out an email that's going to be understood and not have any ambiguous, you know, you wanting this information or that information. So just, you know, watching out for that communication and training staff.
Exactly. And this comes down to even having templates, email templates. This is the template that we use when we're asking questions for our clients. It sometimes can come down to when you know the client very well. So when do they prefer to be contacted? They don't want to get, you know, 100 emails or a dozen emails asking this and then half an hour later asking that and then asking that and interrupting them, because you know that's going to drive them crazy. And if you're working on site, I had clients that I stayed away from them until they had their coffee in the morning. You know what I mean? So you didn't bother knocking on his door because he was, you know, he needed his coffee. So it's little things like that. And keep in mind that what you are doing when you are replacing yourself is, as I say, the outcome is that you want to have happy clients, but you want to have clients. What that means is you want to have clients that don't come back to you and say, I'm not happy with Mary. I want you to come back. And it may not be because of the quality of the work. It's because of the way they interact. Mary's different to Debbie, and the way I communicated with them was different. So you've got to think about yourself. And I started off by saying this. Think about what your clients love about you, how you communicate with them in this particular case. When do you do that? How are your emails going to be drafted? Create templates for your emails, set the expectations with your staff that these are the way we group all of our queries together and we present it in this way to the client. At the end of the day, we've got all our queries and then we do, you know, so whatever your system is for communicating with your clients, don't assume that your staff member will know how that is and that they will do the same thing. These frustrations for me came about because I made assumptions that my staff would communicate in the way that I wanted them to without me actually telling them what that was. And doing what you say is a little bit linked with the being reliable. But I in particular, whatever it is that you say you're going to do for your client, do it. Whether it means I'm turning up at this time or I will have that finished by that time, it's integrity. It's all about integrity. And that was one of our core values, integrity in what we say and do. So that was, and with, you know, this would resonate with all of you, I'm sure, because bookkeepers have integrity. So what we want to do is make sure that our staff understand that integrity is important and it's the way we deliver 5-star service. So if I say I'm going to do something on a particular day at a particular time, I make sure I do it. And if there are circumstances outside of my control, I make sure I let the clients know that it's actually, I'm not going to be able to fulfill on my promise today. Those promises and commitments and integrity and all of that were fundamental to the service, the 5-star service that we offered.
This also helps if you have consistent communication and consistent actions. It helps with the expectations of your client as well. So the client knows what to expect from you. So, you know, a client feels a lot more happier and comfortable working with you because they know exactly what they're going to expect from you.
Hmm.
So
And
it just, you know, builds that loyalty, I suppose, or connection with each other.
yeah, and if you think about one of the objections when people are thinking about growing their business and expanding to and leveraging to have staff, that first moment, and there's a few of you on the call today that don't have staff yet, but it might be at the point where you're thinking about it, toying with the idea. One of the big objections, and I experienced this, Katrina did, practically every good bookkeeper will experience the objection where you're afraid that the clients won't accept the fact that you're growing. They love me, they love you, Di, Karen, and they are afraid. So remember where probably, and certainly in my experience, probably every client that you've put on, or nearly every client you've put on, you've rescued them. So they were in a mess, you tidied them all up, and that was because more than likely bad bookkeeping before you rescued them. They've now got the relief that they feel. This is all the whole thing about empowering business owners around their finances. The relief that you have given them is priceless. That's why they love you. They're not worried about the ATO is going to come. They're paying the staff the wrong amount. They're all in this. They now can sleep well at night. They trust you. They trusted someone before, and look what happened. I got myself in a mess. They trust you now. And now what you're going to do is say, hey, I'm actually going to put another bookkeeper in place so they're going to do the work and I'm not going to do it anymore. You can understand why they might feel nervous about that. But what I did, I didn't have very much pushback, but I did have one or two clients that I could see were very nervous because of where I'd rescued them, where they were before. And I said, my promise to you is that I will make this work. This won't be your problem. I will guarantee the quality of the work. If there is a problem, it's my problem. I am going to be here. In fact, I will be available for you even more because I'm getting the day-to-day stuff done by this fabulous bookkeeper, and look at what she's done, and she's done this skills test and she's got a certificate and she's awesome, and and so you build her up, you edify your staff member or him, and then you say, and I'm going to guarantee the quality of the work. So if it does become a problem, it's actually my problem. That's what Tracy's doing. She's stepping up and saying, this happened. I'm going to fix this. I'm not happy, but okay, I've learned from this as well. And it's not going to be my client's problem. This is my guarantee to you. And when I said that to the couple of clients who were feeling a little bit anxious, it made them feel a little bit more comfortable about that. And then it was only over time that I proved of what I said I was going to do, that I was going to deliver this 5-star service and guarantee the quality of the work. And I was more available for them to do other stuff and keeping in contact with them. It's not like I'm saying I'm dumping a bookkeeper and I'm going. I'm monitoring everything the bookkeeper is doing. So if you have an objection, or if you think that might be a problem for you, then that's the way I recommend you deal with that. You deal with it one person at a time, one client at a time. You find the easiest client first. So once you've got your bookkeeper, you find the easiest client, you set the expectations about the 5-star service, and you've trained them and all that sort of thing. And then you monitor the work that they're doing. You make sure there are checklists. You've got to have your client's bookkeeping manual. It's no point having stuff up in your head. You've got to get that down so that you can set them up to win. Otherwise, they will fail if you haven't conveyed what you have in your head, if you haven't got that out in a checklist form.